You came down. That's all he said, was to come down. That's all he said. 10 men had leprosy. 10 men were distant. 10 men didn't belong around those other people. 10 men were sick. 10 men were contagious. 10 men got laughed at. 10 men got made fun of. 10 men were told they were no count. 10 men sit on the outside. 10 men had been called losers. 10 men had been called homosexual. 10 men had been called gay. 10 men had been called all kind of foul things. 10 men had been called bad brothers, bad husbands. 10 men had something that made everybody else stay away from them. 10 men, though, saw Jesus. And 10 men said, Lord, have mercy. Several women sat at a distance, had issues. They were all bleeding, but they had different issues. Several women sat at a distance, and one of them said, if I can just get to him. I'm talking to you, sister. I'm talking to you this morning. You about to miss the sermon. It's already here. You're the sermon. She said, if I can just get to him, I don't even know if I'm going to talk to him. If I can just get close enough to touch him, if I can just make my way down, I just believe that if I can just touch him, I shall be whole. And so 10 men, Jesus saw them and said, come out of the balcony. In other words, 10 men, he said, go show yourself to the priest. Just go show yourself. Don't talk about what you've been through. Don't fuss and complain about your issues. Just go and show. This is show and tell. And 10 men started walking. And one of them turned to the others and said, hey man, you already look better. Turn to your brother and tell him, say, you already look better. All I did was start walking. That's all the Lord said do. You will understand that there is a blessing in being obedience. One of them said, thank you. One of them went back and said, thank you. You could have gone somewhere else this morning. You've been praying. Don't look like your prayer's been answered. Been praying for a job. Haven't gotten called back for a second interview. Been trying to get over something. Trying to get to see your child. Fighting with your baby's mama. House falling apart. Your dad is still in the hospital. But one of y'all came down this morning just to say thank you. God wants me to tell you this morning, I heard what you said. You said thank you. And your thank you obligated me to bless it. I'm going to prove it to you this week. I'm going to prove it to you right now. He said your thank you is what did it. He said, hey man, your faith did it. You were looking for some fantastic move. You were looking for some great show. He said, I just wanted you to know I've already given you enough faith to fix whatever was going on in your stuff. And so the woman, she made her way down to the altar where Jesus was. And she just reached over and touched his robe, and her issues stopped. Now she's got to live the rest of her life with another issue, because the old issue is gone. You brought it to him, sister. And I'm not being prejudiced about those that sit on the floor, but when God gives specific directions, he's trying to talk to specific people. And to know that you got to understand him when he's speaking. Your faith has just healed whatever you brought down here. I just want to speak his words. No, listen. And I want you to know He gave you faith. You didn't even pray for it. Do you know how heavy that was for you to walk down here believing that God would fix you? Do you know how heavy that was? You believed it. And because you believed it, you acted on it. And now he's obligated to heal it. Well, Pastor, I didn't even tell him what's wrong. He knew what was wrong when you got out of the car. And you could have sat in your seat. You could have been mean. You could have been mad. God doesn't want to put everybody in your business. He doesn't want everybody to hear what you went through. Some of that junk was just between you and him. But he healed it now. He healed it a long time ago. You just didn't know it. So the man said, thank you. And Jesus said, your faith made you whole. And the woman said, thank you. And he said, daughter, your faith made you whole. But it was just because they pressed. They pressed through some crowds. Y'all pressed down some stairs. You pressed down that altar. No, y'all, listen. He's the same. He's the same God. He's the same God. Sometimes you can't even identify what's wrong with you. You can't even put words to it. God said, just bring it to me.